Lagos. I don't know. It's all
And we always look at Nigeria for good
to question them. So
Yeah.
they pick a few ones, make them rise,
Yeah.
and everybody just are not busy like they used to be in
Yeah.
the past. It's only at end of the year when those guys can come to get to the goal, advertisements. So
There's specifics to culture that are, Glenn has not.
The pieces of fabric together as I used to do when I was. Isn't enough for me to do it. I would actually call it my
სხვაებულ ტრადიციებსაც ჩვეულებებს, თუმცა ბოლო წლებში ძალიან
violated. They don't have.
The other, for one question for all of us.
My name is Esiebo. I'm a visual storyteller. I'm very keen in using photography medium in telling stories, expressing myself, and sometimes using it to engage the world around me. And the whole idea is like, in Lagos especially, tire is like a mundane material you find everywhere. Even though the idea is like after it goes from the car, it should go somewhere. In Lagos, the tire finds a second life, just the way people kind of repurpose the tires. And that's why it means it never dies. From the point of when it's being put into the car to after it goes out of the car as a waste, people find a way to repurpose, to recycle it. So it kind of creates a whole life of its own. And because you find it almost every part of the city, it becomes part of the soul of the city, part of the ecology of the city, which can be challenging because sometimes it could be lead to ecological challenges, but sometimes bring some level of economy because some people use it for recycling, upcycling, even fixing it when it's even bad. And those chain means people are involved. Some economy comes into place, but at the same time, there's also a challenge of the environment. What happens in all these practices of upcycling, recycling? So, if you look at it, the tire never dies. It gets its own life even after it's considered a waste. Even the whole story for me of tire, a kind of reflection of how I say in Nigeria we have this spirit of resilience. Regardless of what we go through, we still find a way to survive. The same thing with the tire, it still finds a way to have its own life in the city. And also it has another layer of looking at the question of, even though we don't have this structural way of recycling, because of the necessity or needs, tires find a way of being, recycled or being managed in an organic way.
Yeah.
Most time you find, like I said, it's almost every corner of the city. You find this tire waste being used to cover potholes, like public road manholes. Some people use it as a form of seat for relaxation. People use it for a form of barrier. It's used for all kinds of things. Some use it as a way of protecting their roof from wind. Some now, there are people even use it to make like roof sheets. So it has so many levels. Some people recycle it to make floor tiles. Some even use the metal mesh from it to make nails. They recycle it. Some use it, the carbon black, to make oil for powering some plants. So it has so many layers. Luckily, because in many other parts of the world, that system is not that very practical, but in Nigeria, because of the necessity, we kind of find our own organic way to upcycle, recycle, and find its own life. Because tire is very non-biodegradable. English. But for you, English is not my first tongue. It's very biodegradable. So I think environmentally it could be a challenge. But I think for us, looking at the way tire has a second life in Nigeria, it feels as a symbol for us to rethink how we can make use of our waste. Because even though we don't have a system or a very formal system of waste management, we kind of organically find a way to recycle to make this tire, work. And rather than making it being dumped as a non-degradable material, we find a way to make it more usable and find another life of its own. It could be a blueprint, but also for me, I think there's also another critical way of looking at the West, because a lot of these tires are not generated from, Africa. It comes a lot from the Western world. Imagine with we don't manage this tire the way we manage it and we send it up to another country, we're just going to have a global circulation of non-degradable waste. I agree with you. Maybe in another way, we should make the West rethink how this tire can be used, rather than always just when the tire can't work in the car, we just send it to the garage, to the yard, and of course to the yard they send in, So we have to find for inventive ways to make this thing have its own second life. So I would say yes, in that way, the West can somehow learn from, our own way of managing or dealing with this material. Yeah, I think the Western culture, generate a lot of waste, and I think that's what people really need to find. I don't know, they have to find a way to cut it down, and that has to do with capitalism, because they put this thing too much in your face, and maybe also the way families raise children. Like I was raised whereby nothing waste. It's not that we're really poor, but it's just the way we're raised. Like when I drink a bottle of Coca-Cola, I'm thinking who is going to be the next guy to use it. So it either end up being used to bottle like palm oil. So there's this culture we've built organically over a period of time, whereby there's always, of course, you might say it's because of we're poor, but if you look at it, I wish you can also embrace that way of life in the Western world, where you say you're so rich, but why not just cut down on your waste of material? I spend some time there, and I just see how people waste, and some of the things I say, I wish I could just take them, with me, because it's just a waste. And sometimes rather than just throwing things away, you could fix it. And that's what I mean. I'd go back with the tires. Even those tires were sent from Europe as second hand. Even when they spoil, we don't throw them away. We get people on the road who tries to fix them, create another life for them, maybe back in the car or back in wherever it's going to use. And if you look in one of my projects, I kind of show the various tools they use to bring life to this tire. So I agree with you. The West need to rethink how, they create a lot of waste through consummation. So it's an economy, because what I mean, it's an economy, especially in Nigeria, our society is really, I call it microeconomy, meaning the highest labor provider is the informal sector, the smaller businesses. So, like I said, when this tire comes, because you might say because of necessity, but I think it's a cultural thing. We don't like to just waste things. So you have guys who are on the roadside trying to tell you, we can fix this tire so you can use it for more times. So that's an economy, that's a skill. Somebody learns. It's like, even sometimes I see them like a surgeon trying to like dissect the tire, find intricate ways to fix the tire and put it back to life. That's an economy. The guy who goes on the street, picking those tires and see how it can be upcycled, that's another economy. Then the guy who now takes it to the factory to find somebody who's going to recycle them or upcycle, that's the whole chain of, I call it value chain of economy. It's like it goes from the guy who fixes it on the road and the guy who says, no, we can't fix it anymore, but take it. And it goes, and to those tires who are not lucky to be recycled, somehow organically people find to use them, like I said. Sometimes we use it for goalposts for playing soccer, for instance. So there's a whole level of economic chain that as these tires is moving, somebody is moving, there's an economy, moving around with it. So I call it circular economy in a way. Yeah. And it's also even the shape of the tire is circular and it moves. So somehow I always say, like, as long as the tire the city keeps moving, the tire keeps moving, the economy keeps moving. So that's why we actually tie to the Pneumacity. It keeps going and going and going and going. Yeah, we have that culture, and it's even improving now, because before it was, like I said, because now there's people see value in tires, so everybody's trying to see how they can make money out of it. So it finds a whole life for itself. That's why I call it the end of life of these tires. Second life of them. I'm not too concerned about trying to change cliché. I think I'm more interested in just to show my daily realities. I'm so blessed to have this tool, photography, to express myself. And my own interest is just to tell the world what I see. Then it's up to the audience to be open-minded and really look what they can benefit from the work. So I think it's not trying to change people's, but it's up to them to be open to see what I see through my photography.